Hey guys, it's me, the $1 Million Batchmaker, and today we got a really good topic for you today. We're going to discuss which handmade marketplace is going to be best for you to expand your business long term. This goes out to all the handmade crafters, artisans out there. We're going to discuss in detail the differences and comparisons, compatibilities of Amazon Handmade, Etsy, and the newest player in the game, Michael's Makerspace. So you really don't want to miss this. We have some really good tips and tricks up our sleeves that can really benefit you in the long run, all right? If you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and let's begin. All right, guys, we're jumping right in. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details, for those who really don't know, we're going to dive into the specifics of each marketplace. First, we're going to start with the big kahuna in the room, that is Etsy. Etsy is a $8 billion company as of the last SEC filing date, and they are humongous in the handmade, hand-altered space. I'm sure many of you have already heard of them before and are wondering why am I covering them? Because they are pretty much the standard bearer for a handmade marketplace right now. And I'm basically going to be comparing every other marketplace to them. Etsy was started in Brooklyn, New York in 2005 with the explicit idea of enabling handcrafted artists and artisans to actually get their goods to market and make some money, which was a great idea. Hallelujah! Me and many people out there have made quite a bit of money selling many custom handcrafted goods on Etsy. Anything from, custom engraved mugs to bookshelves that are customized with family pictures. Anything you can imagine, I'm guaranteed it's on Etsy. But then about a decade later on, to piggyback on Etsy's success, Amazon noticed that they could actually jump into the game as well. Amazon, as many of you know, is probably the world's largest e-commerce platform. It has a market cap of $2 trillion, which by comparison, Etsy is a complete small fry. So in 2015, they launched Amazon Handmade. Now, Amazon Handmade is very much like Etsy. They pretty much copied the best parts of Etsy and then tried to enhance it with Amazon's own built-in, FBA and all the services that come with Amazon. There are a few differences, of course. Amazon doesn't really allow you to customize, listings quite as much as Etsy. There are a whole slew of regulations around Amazon in general. Anyone who's been an Amazon seller on their regular marketplace knows what I'm talking about. They can come down on you very hard on, issues of trademark and copyright. By comparison, Etsy is pretty lax. And so Etsy and Amazon Handmade have been, duking it out for quite a few years now. And then in 2023, a little known arts and crafts store named Michael's burst onto the scene with their own handmade artisan marketplace called Michael's Makerspace. Now, Michael's has been an arts and crafts retail brand since 1975. And that actually puts them in a very good position to enter this handmade online space. They even say it on their website. Michael's aims to be basically a closed loop for all the handmade artisans and craft makers out there. Optimally, they'd like you to buy the raw materials to make goods from Michael's, make the goods, and then sell them on the Makerspace platform. Pretty smart in my opinion. Okay guys, so let's jump right into the comparison. I've decided to compare the three marketplaces according to a table of my choosing right here. And we're gonna start exactly with number one, fees and pricing structure. All these marketplaces charge you can vary a lot, but I think there is one clear winner. So let's start first with Etsy. Now, having been an Etsy seller since 2017, and please comment below if you can agree with me, but Etsy does have quite a few fees. There's the, transaction fee, there's the, it's only 20 cents, but the listing fee, which can get pretty annoying because no one else seems to have it. There's the subscription fee, which, enables you to get to their premium service and have those special features at $10 a month. But those fees honestly haven't budged too much. Why? Because they're competing pretty much neck and neck with Amazon Handmade in attracting a user base of handmade artists and artisans. Amazon Handmade has done a pretty good job of actually waiving some of their fees and expenses because, they realize that handmade artists, artisans are sometimes small family businesses that can't withstand the, $40 subscription fee just to be able to target ads better. But Amazon Handmade still includes many fees such as the transaction fee. And in general, having been an Amazon seller myself, I do know that Amazon's fees can vary widely depending on the product category that you actually sell in. Generally speaking, the more regulated your product category, the higher the fees, in my opinion. But in terms of fees and transactions, so far, no one seems to be able to go as low as Michael's Makerspace. At 3%, Michael's pretty much has the lowest transaction fee of all of them, especially Amazon at their 6%. They have no listing fee, and the subscription for their premium service just narrowly beats out Etsy at, I think, $9.96 a month. So, hey. But then again, they are the newest kid on the block, and they're eagerly trying to attract new sellers and new buyers. So, of course, they're going to undercut everybody right now. We'll see how this strategy plays out in the future. Stay tuned. So in terms of fees and pricing, I'm going to give the number 1 spot to Makerspace, number 2 to Amazon, and number 3 to Etsy. Next category, popularity. And this, of course, is important because if you don't have an audience, you can't sell. Now, at the time of the publishing of this video, Michael's Makerspace has not actually revealed how many monthly active users they have at the moment, so I can't really include them in this analysis. So this really becomes a toss-up between Amazon Handmade and Etsy. Now, Amazon, the retail side of the company, has 3 billion active shoppers every month. That is humongous. But the real question is, how many of those shoppers are actually shopping on Amazon Handmade? That is a question I honestly haven't gotten an answer to. I don't even think Amazon has answered that question in any of their corporate filings to date. In fact, if you look on the Amazon Handmade website, what they really hone in on is the potential for the handmade artisans to have access to that 3 billion active monthly users. So without knowing any of this, all we can do is, get a rough estimate of how many sellers are actually successful on Etsy versus Amazon Handmade. Just last year, Amazon Handmade reported that 5,000 of their sellers are actually making revenues above $1 million, which is about 75% of the amount of users making the same amount of money on Etsy. Given Amazon is a much larger marketplace, that's actually pretty impressive. So I'm still gonna have to give the popularity crown to Amazon. Etsy is a very close second in the handmade space, and in dead last is the Michael's Makerspace, although we don't really know the numbers right now. They could be doing really well, who knows? Now, third category is features. And when I say features, I mean features that actually help you sell, become a more efficient and effective seller on the marketplace. Makerspace has taken a very novel approach to the whole handmade artisan online sales thing by, not only enabling you to sell physical goods and making, custom alterations to them, but allowing you to host live classes, something that blows my mind, and also how-tos which, enable you to basically get affiliate revenue from Michael's from every sale. It's actually a very smart idea. We'll see how it plays out in the future, but I'm still gonna have to give them third place. Now for second place, and this was a tough one, but I'm gonna have to give it to Etsy. And I'll tell you why. Now Etsy has absolutely perfected the art of, handmade sales and, customized, personalized sales experience better than anybody out there. I mean, you can personalize goods to whatever extent you want. You could sell digital goods in basically whatever format you want. And the site is increasingly becoming more gift oriented, as experienced by that new gift mode ad campaign. But when you compare it to the big kahuna, Amazon, they really are talking child's play in terms of promotion. For example, anyone who's used Amazon's PPC, pay-per-click console to advertise their listings on the Makerspace knows it is way more detailed and way more advanced than Etsy, probably because they have so much consumer data at their disposal. And for a second, let's talk about the elephant in the room, FBA. That's right, Amazon has a huge network of warehouses where if you're selling a huge quantity of specific handmade goods, you could ship them there and the FBA network will take care of the last mile delivery. That could potentially save you a ton of time and headache. In fact, if you're a handmade artist on Amazon Handmade right now and you're using FBA, I'm curious what your experience is like, because I'm wondering if I should even use it myself. And one more thing, there are also literally a million third-party tools out there that help you to optimize your listings and rank better in Amazon's marketplace compared to the handful of third-party tools that can do the same for Etsy. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give Amazon Handmade number 1, Etsy 2, and Makerspace 3. Next up is competition. Anyone who's ever sold anything online knows if there's a lot of competition for your niche product, well, you might not get any sales. So how do these three compare? For this category, for Etsy, I'm unfortunately gonna have to rank it third. Why? I'll tell you why. As of Etsy's last filing in 2023, Etsy now has 60 million products. That is 60 big M. Now, that might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but also consider that between 2022 and 2023, 9 million more sellers signed up for Etsy's marketplace. That represented a 21% increase. Since the pandemic alone, there has been a 40% increase in the number of sellers on the platform. And I can literally tell you from experience, the amount of competition in every single product niche almost is very crazy. These days, you really have to bring your A game to really compete on Etsy's marketplace. In fact, I have a video right here showing you what exactly you might have to do. I hope you find it useful. But on top of everything, the increased number of sellers on Etsy isn't exactly leading to an increase in sales, actually. Sales on Etsy's platform from the last filing only increased by 0.9%. And you can see a lot of talk from Etsy's leadership indicating that they want to pretty much narrow the field, focus on things like gift mode and personalization, which is only going to, make certain stores, make certain sellers, really stand out and let all the others, fight for the scraps at the bottom. Hey, that's how the game works. Amazon Handmade, however, is actually a little bit different. Right from the get-go, Amazon kind of pretty much narrowed the product categories in which sellers could actually sell. And I think this was on purpose. At the publishing of this video, I believe there are only 20 categories right now. Amazon Handmade, you're not allowed to sell, digital goods right now or, live stream like you are on Makerspace. And there is an actual application process, which makes a huge difference, which is probably why at the time of the publishing of this video, there are only 1.75 million products on Amazon Handmade. And from my experience, I know Amazon Handmade has a lot of regulations behind it. They clamp down on copyrights, they clamp down on restricted items, much harsher than on Etsy, but it also makes the marketplace a little bit more exclusive, so if you play by the rules, you can make a lot of money. So yes, for number 2, we're gonna go with Amazon Handmade. And the top spot, the number 1 crown, goes to Michael's Makerspace in the competition field, mostly because it is a brand new marketplace, fresh new eyes, fresh new consumers, It's quickly filling up if you visited it lately, but there is still a lot of opportunities to growth, and that may be the key difference between you making $1 million or a few thousand. Who knows? Let's go to the next category. Difficulty, ease of use. Being a drop shipper for a number of years, I know that some platforms are easier to use than others, and it could be for a number of reasons, but we're gonna go straight into the number 3 spot, which is definitely Amazon. Now look, it is the world's largest online marketplace, but it is also the most heavily regulated. I know from my days back drop shipping, pain relieving rubs on Amazon, one slight misstep in the wrong UPC code in the barcoding in the country declaration will get you kicked off Amazon faster than you could say handmade. Secondly, you may have heard stories in the media of how Amazon actually uses data from its sellers to generate and promote their own in-house products. I've experienced this personally myself, and it is truly annoying. This might actually be a little bit harder to do with handmade and hand-altered products, but I wouldn't put it past them. Third, the learning curve for the seller dashboard on Amazon is a little bit to a lot bit steeper than Etsy's. Actually, Etsy is fairly simple in comparison. And again, this makes sense because Amazon is truly a global marketplace where you have to worry about trademarks, copyrights, trade infringements, things I really had to deal with in the past. Second on the ease of use list, I honestly have to say is Makerspace. I know it's a young platform, but it really is easier than Amazon, maybe slightly more difficult than Etsy. As I said before, there are really 3 ways to sell on Makerspace. You can list your products like on Etsy, physical goods, not digital goods at the moment, for sale with certain customized elements that you can put on there, personalization. There's not so much a focus on gifts, but we'll get back to that later. There's also a how-tos section, which pretty much allows you to get in on some of the normal sales that would generally occur with Michaels anyway. And then there are the tutorials, or pretty much the live streams where you can make money from people signing up and you teaching them in person, which is a strategy that the other 2 marketplaces I don't think have even considered yet. Having made a few sales on Makerspace, I can honestly say the process is fairly smooth. A few glitches with the reserve accounts and payment processing, but I'm sure as the marketplace matures, those issues will be resolved with time. The number 1 crown, of course, is going to go to Etsy. Call me biased, but over the past few years, Etsy has played very fast and loose with signing up as many users as possible, and as a design consequence of that, making their platform as user-friendly as possible. This is why they've been able to add 9 million new sellers last year alone. Compared to Amazon, Etsy has a very low regulatory bar at the moment. You could upload many different formats of pictures that you want, any kind of background that you want. They largely kind of turn a blind eye to issues of trademark and copyright, though listen guys, this situation can't last forever. I can hear the lawyers sharpening their knives right now. Eventually they're gonna clamp down on these issues and bring the marketplace in line with Amazon and all the other online conglomerates out there. Next category is growth potential. Now this one I pretty much had the most difficult time deciding, but in the number 3rd position, I'm gonna unfortunately have to say Etsy. As I mentioned earlier, competition on Etsy has gone through the roof, but it's more than that. Etsy's own CEO explicitly even stated that Etsy has identified about 1 million product categories that really make Etsy money, and therefore Etsy's algorithm is going to start really narrowing in and concentrating on those 1 million product categories. Which product categories those are, I don't know. I don't think anybody outside of Etsy really does, but over the next few years, we're pretty much guaranteed to find out. Throw on top of this the more emphasis on gift mode and the more emphasis on personalization. I mean, the growth potential of Etsy I can only see it being reserved for a few stores. I mean, we'll see how this plays out in a few years, but honestly, I don't see it looking too good. The number 2 crown I think has to go to Amazon Handmade. As I stated before, they are more regulated, more tightly curated in their, product selection, but this may actually work to their favor. Because the platform is more difficult to use and there's a higher barrier to entry, it kind of leaves out all the drop shippers and the scammers that have kind of diminished Etsy's reputation as of late. As a seller on Amazon Handmade, I can honestly say that within 2 or 3 years, our sales on Amazon Handmade will pretty much equal our sales on Etsy, if not exceed them. I mean, this still leaves out the question of how many, monthly Amazon users will actually convert to Amazon Handmade. We still need to see the numbers, Jeff Bezos, but I am optimistic. What can I say? In first place, of course, I have to say Makerspace. Brand new opportunities, brand new ways of selling, and potentially brand new customers. What can I say? It's a whole new world. Last category, branding. Some e-commerce platforms really allow you to reach out to customers directly, even to the point of being able to sell them things directly, either through email or direct message. Some platforms are better than this than others. Let's start with the worst, which is honestly Amazon. Always has, always will be. Amazon Handmade and Amazon as a whole have the explicit goal of keeping buyers within the Amazon ecosystem at all time. Generally speaking, they do not want you as a third-party seller to enable a buyer to go directly to your website on, www.jonesfloraldesigns.com. They don't want that. Thus, they don't easily share with you the buyer's email. They have policies around, shipping additional samples or promotional items in the goods that you ship to the customer. Michael's Makerspace will come in second place largely because it's too early to know. For instance, in the tutorials and the how-to section of their site, they do say in their policies that you're freely allowed to promote yourself in your own business, even while selling things through the marketplace. But when you do make a sale, it is actually more difficult to get a customer's email than it is on Etsy. Will this policy change in the future? I'm not sure myself. But the number 1 place in terms of branding goes to Etsy. I can say from experience that the number of customers I managed to funnel from Etsy to my own private online store has been significant as compared to both Amazon Handmade and Makerspace. By running certain reports on the Etsy dashboard, you can get limited customer data such as some customer email addresses, the state location of certain customers, but that is actually more than enough to actually run, say, an email campaign or special promotions at your request. More importantly, Etsy, as I believe part of their premium service, allows you to basically make a custom website with Etsy's hosting behind it. So you can really give customers an experience that they can't get anywhere else on the web. Amazon Handmade and Michael's Makerspace, they make small attempts at this, but they really fall far short of what Etsy's been able to accomplish. All right, guys, that's my full analysis based on these parameters. Here's the full list just for your reference. If you're using 1, 2, or all 3 of these platforms, I'd really like to hear your opinions and your comments. Please post something below. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Once again, this has been the $1 Million Batchmaker. I hope to see you again for next week's episode. In the meantime, keep formulating.